With intense battles all through last round in the GTOs and an intense start for the GTPs, IMSA Vintage heads to another high downforce, low grip track in Hungaroring. Will Sintez Galindo or Kundelis be able to bounce back from last round's woes, or will Humphrey and Friesen repeat their successes to hang on to the championship leads? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 3 of the iRacing IMSA Vintage series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lindgren, and with me in the booth is Craig King. Our director is the boss man Daniel Costello, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Hungaroring is a hard track to get right, and an even harder track to pass at. To find out what makes this place so legendary, let's head down to our track guide.
Welcome to the Hungaroring. Situated just northeast of Budapest, this Grand Prix circuit has racked up a stunning history in just a little more than 30 years of existence. Its biggest claim to fame was holding the first Formula One race inside the Iron Curtain at a time when the Cold War was at its peak. But most fans don't associate this 2.7-mile or 4.38-kilometer track with politics. No, its 14 turns make it tight and twisty with a reputation for few places to overtake. For a long time, it was renowned for processional races in which qualifying is of the utmost importance. But the past couple decades have seen a litany of utterly wild and unpredictable races that greatly overshadow the single-file events of before. The majority of passing takes place into Turn 1, while some battles do carry on into Turn 2. But be careful about how greedy you get, because the steep drop in elevation makes it easy to go wide. Other than that, Turn 12 is often the only other realistic place to sneak by your opponent. Perhaps the scariest and trickiest of the corners is 4, which presents a blind and crooked entry into a high-speed flick. Though modern times have seen a paved runoff added to it to make it safer, that's considered out of bounds, and drivers will find themselves being told to give back time if they abuse the exit. Built with fans in mind, the track sits in a natural bowl, allowing great views from most sides of the venue. It's easy to see why it's become a fan favorite on the F1 calendar, and there's little doubt it'll continue to see lots of racing for years to come.
Well, Daniel, this place has a pretty great history of racing in multiple different series, but why don't you take us through the IMSA Vintage and how they're going to handle this track today?
Yeah, I'm not sure Daniel can, but me, I can. Don't worry about it. It's a love or hate it track around here. Hungaroring is a 2.722 mile, 14-turn track that brings elevation, sweeping corners, and a challenge for the drivers. Now, as a track designed for Formula One, it comes as no surprise to hear that the GTPs love this track due to their downforce, but drivers will have to be careful in the first and final parts of the track, as heavy braking and slow hairpins will test the drivers on their braking and throttle input. From there, it's a tight, twisty track full of wide runoffs, but with bumpy curves which the Nissans will have to worry about. For the GTOs, the Audis actually feel comfortable around here. Drivers will have to be cautious about the 90-degree bends at turn 8 and 9, but we need to pay attention to the quick chicane at turn 6 and 7. For multiclass, it's a struggle. This track was never designed for multiclass aspects, and with the speed differences, it will be a tight challenge. The delta between classes is anything from 9 to 13 seconds depending on pace, and the middle section has no chances for the Nissans to get past mid-corner. But in the high-speed kink, they will have to pay care to the Audis if they want to track out wide on exit in order to keep all their speed up. Adam, track temp shouldn't factor too much today, but the drivers will have to keep their eyes on those tyre temps as they will not want to overheat the tyres at the end of the race. It's going to be a battle of two halves today.
Absolutely, and it's been a battle of 2 races in the championship so far. We're entering our 3rd round with Aaron Humphrey in the lead, 47 points up there, with Aitor Sintez Galindo in 2nd position, making a good recovery after getting spun out early last round. We have Brendan Lim 13 points back in a tight fight with Javier Del Olmo and Farron Grau for that last step on the rostrum. And we've got Dylan Freckleton, Jack David Spickett, Dustin Roeder, Lance Simon, and Seamus Power rounding out your top 10 in the GTPs. But what about the GTOs, Craig?
Well, still early doors for the GTOs, but Nicky Friesen is leading the way with Arturas Kundulis right behind him. Two of them having a good results. Andreas Schuster didn't have the best result last week. He's there in third, and the early runner, of course, Doug Cloud, just there in fourth, just bringing it back up. It's early days. Some of these drivers in this top 10 were in second split last week. Look at Roman Bello and Forban Pollock. So there is still loads of time to get points. Early doors, and those points may get eliminated when it comes to their best results end of the season.
Absolutely. It's worth mentioning it is a single split today as we head to our race details. It's going to be round 3 of 12 for the IMSA Vintage Series. 40 minutes, so their standard race today. We got an open setup for these drivers, so they can set up the car however they like or dislike with no spare vehicles. So try not to get any damage by going all the way out to the barriers today or getting onto some of those higher curbs. Drive-through penalty at 17 incidents and disqualification at 25 incidents. We haven't seen that in quite a while, Craig, but it definitely will come into play today.
We're coming today with a lot of the wide corners. Like I said, a lot of runoff there for some of the drivers in the middle section. They will like to use it, and there might be a bit of avoidance having to take them with some accidents out there, so we'll wait and see.
Here we go into qualifying, 3 minutes left, and most of the drivers in the GTPs have already finished all of their laps as Farron Grau just sets the fastest lap at a 1:30.895. Fastest lap for the GTOs is a 1:44.915. That's a 15-second time difference between the two classes. I can also report that there is a single split, so we're seeing all of our drivers from both, from what tends to be a two-split race, as we see Antonio Alvarez crossing the line. Aitor Sintes Galindo goes up to second position, just pipping Jack Wells in the GTPs. Nicky Friesen still on his second lap. He's going to cross the line and try and retain that pole position, but Arturas Kundulis pips him, and Nicky Friesen pips him right back.
Wow, they were close before, and they are closer even now. 0.03 between those. Josh Brain going to be coming across the line. Nick Canos puts that car up into fifth, and Josh Brain will not get a lap that time by. Philip Late's going to be some of the last ones to come. Sam Skogard, you just seen putting him into ninth position, as Phil Late will come down. It sounds like Doug Cloud, unfortunately, did not set a lap time in quali because he had an off track.
Yeah, Phil Lake sets his only lap time on his second lap, going fifth. Andreas Schuster is the last of the GTOs, I believe, who's going to have an opportunity to set the qualifying time, as Britt Casey going around there on their first lap, trying to get a time down. But Andreas Schuster crosses the line, and does he improve from fourth position? The answer is no. Improves his time, but not his position. Continue looking at Britt Casey taking that right-hand bend right before what is now on the right-hand side of that track, an airsoft ring.
Oh, you learn something new every day as they continue on. Now they come to the section I said we have to worry about later in the race, as they'll come down now this long straight, hard on the brakes into 12. A little kink here, technically 12A and then 13. These sweeping corners at the end of the track kind of mirrors the start of the track. Lots of place to do a throttle there, especially a little bit the pit entry. And in the final corner, how early do you want to get on the throttle?
Oh, and looks like Isaac Snyder just crosses the line in time. Looks like Britt Casey might have timed out of their lap, unfortunately. But Isaac Snyder's not going to have time to finish this lap with only 43 seconds left on the clock. Crossed the line with about 105 to go, and they're doing 132s. So I don't think Isaac's going to be able to get this lap done, but we'll keep watching just in case. Crossing through the really fast left-hander there, at turn 4, and now through 5. Going into the weaving sections of 6 and 7. The switchbacks and over these curbs can be really dangerous for our drivers, but in the GTPs, they're doing a good job so far.
Yeah, doing a good job come by. Nice to see that elevation change. It's one of the things I find iconic about Hungaroring, that for those first couple corners, going down the hill for turn 1, then going around, and you're still going downhill again with another sweeper there. It's so nice to see on the track.
And that's going to take us to our grid for this race. We have in pole position Farron Grau in the GTPs with Aitor Sintes Galindo alongside him. in the first row. Then we've got Jack Wells on row 2 behind Farron Grau, and Robert Nash lined up behind Sintes Galindo. Javier Del Olmo starts off row 3 with Togo Hesada next to him. Riley Thompson in the Total Downforce Racing Machine starts off in 7th position with Dylan Freckleton in 8th, and rounding out the top 10 is Fernando Serrato and Brendan Lim. And then we've got Aaron Humphrey lined up in 11th position with Seamus Power next to him on row 6. Row 7 goes to David Finch and Fabian Jungbluth. Alec Campbell starting off in 15th today with Kevin Parrish in the 16th position. And then we've got Antonio Alvarez in 17th and Isaac Snyder in 18th. Top 20 rounded out by Bo Reed and Matthew Cockram. And they've got a couple more drivers as well. Sergio Alonso Gomez lined up on the grid in 21st. And they've got Eric Kulaga in 22nd. Jim Turner in 23rd position, the last driver to set a qualifying time. Then Britt Casey, who we saw had that connection issue. It's going to be down in the 24th position. And then Christian Arribas did not set a qualifying time either, down in 24th.
Let's get to the GTOs with Nicky Friesen leading them away with Arturo Candelas beside him. And it's Johanny Kamanen who will be in P3, and Andreas Schuster in 4th. Phil Lake will be 5th with Nicholas McCanos in 6th, and then it's Josh Brain in 7th with Joran Van Hixie in 8th. Cam Porter makes himself known as 9th, and Sam Skogard will be 10th to round out the first page. As we get to the second page, Ian Haycox will be 11th. Roman Bello will be 12th. Pierre Sonderup will be the last time qualifier, with Doug Cloud not setting a time and Samfir Radu Olympio not setting a time at all today. 15 GTOs, 25 GTPs, Adam. Not an even 20-20 split, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately. So it's a little bit of a 2/3 majority to the GTPs. Look at that. It's a Paul Pushrod Racing front row for the GTPs today. Take a look at the temperatures. Air temp 78, not too bad. Track temp 115, 46 Celsius out there. That's tough. And the winds out of the northwest at 9 miles per hour. That's going to be a headwind down to turn 1, which should give us a good opportunity at some late lunges. But getting ready to go racing now as the pace car pulls off into pit lane. Farron Grau now controls the field at the front of the GTPs, coming around the final corner. And is he going to get on the loud pedal or is he going to wait? He's going to wait, and now he gets on the loud pedal, surprises his teammate Aitor Sintes Galindo. A little bit of side-by-side contact between Jack Wells and Robert Nash. That was a little bit of a surprise there, as Robert Nash, I think, was trying to get in behind Aitor Sintes Galindo, but down to the braking for turn 1. Look at that. That's going to be Ronnie Thompson trying to make a move there on one of our championship runners. Unfortunately for them, they fall back. It's 3 wide as they go down to turn 3, and that's going to be Farron Grau with Jack Wells in second. Let's go to the GTOs.
A little bit of a 3 wide as well in the GTOs as Candelas managed to get by. You're still watching side by side. In the bottom, you see the GTPs going on. Really good start from McCannos. Ian Haycock going 3 wide into turn 1 to make the overtake, and Friesen is on the attack now. Did not get the best of run. They started going into the inside of the final corner. Advantage Candelas.
At this stage in the lap for both classes, it's going to be line astern for these drivers as they go through the twistier bits of the course. You can see there with the GTOs as they start to head into turn 5. It's a long right-hander. This is where the front tires are going to start to wear off. You don't want to go too wide on the exit there. With a good run out of the corner for Arturas Kundelis. It looks like in our GTPs, Farron Grau fairly securely in the lead right now over Jack Wells. Robert Nash having fallen back to 3rd.
And now it's just a little bit of a waiting stage now to see what they can do, as Seamus Power is right on the back of the cars. You can just see in this early stage, still looking to try and find ways through. He's trying to get his way past Dylan Freckleton. Really good start here from Seamus, getting up a position. Nowhere to go at the moment. It's a waiting game. I said watch out for the things. We've got Isaac Snyder in the wall. Watch out for the tires on the first lap.
Absolutely. So Isaac Snyder goes around and drops down to the back of the pack. Some major left side damage on his car. Togo Hesada looking for a move there on Javier Del Olmo, as it looks like Riley Thompson's lost a position to Togo Hesada. Riley might actually have a little bit of damage on the nose of that machine. Isaac Snyder's rejoined the track right in the midst of our battle for the lead in the GTOs. He's staying well out of the way and is now in the pits.
Yeah, he is in the pits, going to take some repairs. I think he's got some steering damage there with the new damage model on board with Nicholas McCannos as he continues on. One thing I wanted to point out, look at the GTPs, Douglas Asada did not complete a lap today in the 49s. He completed a lap today. He keeps on battling as we look at Mechanos. Down the hill they go. And this is a corner, as you see, in Haycott's making a mistake. Not making Haycott, sorry. That was Kundelis making a mistake up at the top there, taking the inside line. Friesen's going to have to wait for an opportunity. Just a mistake with that curving there. Almost a little bit of a camber on that corner there, Adam. Just throwing Kundelis off.
Absolutely. It's really hard to stay to the inside of that corner. It does feel like it's opposing cambered. There we see Mickey Friesen tucked in behind Arturas Kundelis. As Kundelis made that mistake, it's brought the top four all together. And even Nick Mechanos in 5th position is not too far behind. Cam Porter has made up 2 positions since the start and is now in 7th position, right on the back of Josh Brain. If he can get past Josh Brain, he might be able to continue to bridge the gap up to the top 5 with Nick Mechanos.
Yeah, they're trying to keep onto that gap, but it is such a pace at the moment. As we look at Cameron, he is looking to just look for the opportunity out there. As Robert Nash, fastest lap overall in the race for the GTPs. Now's really the question, what do you want to do at the front here? You know overtaking is hard, so let's just wait for an opportunity. For the rest of the field, look for the opportunities. You see Aaron Humphrey just having their little battle with Chambers Power, trying to hold on to this. It's so tough at the start. Your best overtaking opportunity in both classes, though.
Absolutely. It's that first turn. That's the best overtaking opportunity. And we saw Aaron Humphrey make that move there and get past. And now Seamus Power trying to come back at that. But my goodness, looks like at the lead of the GTO field, there's not going to be any sort of changes in position there. I think the GTOs, like you said, Craig, are just starting to settle in. But the GTPs, they seem to be duking it out because they know, like you said earlier, this is the best opportunity to make any passes in class before you start to run into that multi-class, because I don't think these GTOs are going to get separated.
They're not going to get separated by a lot. You can see how tight it is off the track, though.
Jack went straight. He just straight lined it. I think he might have had a wheel disconnect or something. He gets going now again. But what a heartbreak for Jack Wells from 2nd position.
You know what? It almost, yeah. You know, it looks like he had an issue with his brake or throttle or something. That might have been a misshift. He had control of the steering wheel there, Adam. I was looking back. I feel it like he may have had a problem there. On board with Doug Cloud. We'll get back to that later. Doug Cloud has already made a few places up this race. He's already +4. He's looking to go +5, but it's so tough in these tight sections. On board with him. Always nice to see Doug. And really, he's got to get a trademark bandana sometime with his name on it.
Absolutely. I would definitely spend the extra, $20 to get something with my name on it, especially with the amount that he uses it in racing. But Doug's been doing a good job making up those positions. But unfortunately for him, if he gets past Sam Skovsgaard, he's going to have some work to do. Jack Wells continuing to have issues. He's now fallen all the way back to 19th and is slow on track. So he's now getting going once again, but heartbreak for him. And there you see Doug getting that move done on the 34 and getting himself up into 9th.
Yeah, really nice move there. I think Sam realized Doug was a little bit more faster, and actually you can see Sam Skogart there in the background having a bit of a problem with these hairpins at the end of the track, and maybe that's one of the reasons Doug now got a really clear air here. Just getting onto the slipstream of Ian Haycock, who's in a single toe. It's not a double as him and Cam continue. Lead battle and the GTPs continue though, Adam.
Absolutely. If we could ride on board with Robert Nash, he's making some good moves. I always talk about, Craig, these drivers needing to take different lines than their competitors to have an advantage on the driver ahead. And you can see Robert Nash poking his nose out from behind Farron Grau and getting the best draft. Look at that. Farron Grau going a little bit wide through that turn. He's going to late apex it. Robert Nash going to early apex it to try and keep air on the front of that nose. And he's got a good run here. If he's got decent wings compared to Grau, he might be able to make a move. Grau defensive into 1. Nash going to look around the outside. Nothing doing this time, but he's going to try the over-under here and try and go around the outside. Loose moment for Nash through turn 1 as they approach turn 2.
Loose moment, but he does have an outside line here as they come down into turn 3. Is there going to be a move? Turn 2, sorry, they'll come down to turn 3 now. Nowhere to go. Reset. They got one more lap before they hit 1 GTO. This is the place we saw the Hamilton and Alonso battles a couple years ago. Has Grau gone wide? He's able to hold on to it. That's a scary moment there. It's a raised curve at the edge there. You go too far over, Alan, you're going to lose out. Farron Grau holds on to it though. Nash has to wait. Late braking. Locked up.
And now he's off the inside of the course. That's going to allow Sanchez Galone to go by. Nash is going to let that happen because he knows that if he makes that battle work, he's going to lose more time. I gotta report that Mickey Friesen in the lead of the GTOs is right on the back of Arturas Kundalus. I think this is gonna be a move into turn 1. Here comes the move. Kundalus is gonna go defensive. And there you see it on screen. Friesen trying to go around the outside. That's really hard to do in the GTOs, but if you keep a nose alongside the corner panel, you can't. He gets pushed off wide by Kundalus. That was a great attempt from Friesen, but Kundalus good on the defense.
This pack it's elongated. It's a pack of 3 that's going to become a pack of 4 again. It might become a pack of 5 once again if Buchanan's can hold on to it just with the battle. And look at Doug Cloud in the background though. He's looking to make moves. He could not make it on Ian Haycock. He's going to look for the run here. It's not going to happen. Doug is a man on a mission today, already +5, and wide goes Ian, but look how it tightens up. It's a right-hander. It helps Ian. Doug's got nowhere to go, and he knows he needs to get past Ian fast.
Absolutely. Ian Haycock's and Doug Cloud, they've duked it out together many times. Look at that Doug take it. Look to the inside there of the 6 and 7 complex. What a gutsy move. I got to look. Fabian Muth has made the pass on Seamus Power to get himself up to 11th position, only 1.5 seconds behind the battle behind between Freckleton and Humphrey. Doug Cloud, though, like you said, man on a mission. He does need to get past Ian Haycock because Haycock is dropping off the back of Cam Porter to the tune of 1.5 seconds. If Doug can't get past him soon, he's going to be 2 seconds behind. It's going to be hard to close that gap.
Yeah, last lap, Doug Cloud with a 45.2. That's a 1:45.2. Ian Haycock's 45.9. Is Doug going to try and do this again? The little cheeky move into the hairpin? No. I did see some smoke there from Ian. I think he had a little lockup. But you can see this is hurting Doug right now. He has the pace. Look at the different lines in the GTOs. We'll get back to that, though, because Seamus Power is still having this little battle here in the GTP. Can he hold on to this battle? I cannot tell. Meanwhile, in the GTO, Doug is going to have to go around the outside.
Absolutely. Doug Cloud's going to try and go around the outside of Ian Haycock. Haycock's with good on the brakes, but he goes wide, so that allows the over-under from Doug, and Doug Cloud's going to get the job done. As they get back over the front straightaway, though, the lead of the GTPs might be in contention here. Robert Nash, Ito Sintins Galindo, very close behind Farron Grau, but just not enough overspeed from Sintins Galindo to get the job done to try and make a pass. They stayed line astern for one more time, but the GTOs now onto the back straightaway going through turns 4, and I think that the leaders of the GTPs are going to start to catch up to the GTOs now. That's 12th position, Pierce Sonderup behind the Doug Cloud, though, goes wide through turn 4, so he's going to lose some time to Cam Porter up ahead. But my goodness, things are about to get spicy for the GTPs. Here we go.
One straggler who's off the pace at the back, who's had a couple moments, and Sonderup, he does hold them up, and it means that Sintins Galindo can make this move, and he can't do it at the moment. More positions looking like they're trying to just go. One car has already bunched up the top 5 just like flat, a snap of the finger, and they're gonna have to hit in a couple more corners the rest of the field as they all come down into turn 12. That's the GTOs, the GTPs, they're on turn 11.
And 11th through 9th in the GTOs are all bunched together in a line, but the biggest pack of the GTOs is that pack from 8th position. That's Doug Cloud all the way up to Arturas Kundalus. That is all one single line. And the GTPs are about to catch up to the back of Romain Bello in the 11th position in the GTOs. And they're going to catch him on the front straight. This is going to be interesting for the breaking down into turn 1. We'll see how Farron Grau handles this as though our leader, Ato Sintis Galindo, too far back to make a move this time with the extra draft that Farron's going to get off of the back of the 11, or off the back of the number 30 rather. But look at this. That's going to be Farron Grau trying to break the draft to Sintins Galindo, and side by side for Sintins Galindo and Romain Bello. Bello has to go wide, but Sintins Galindo and Robert Nash not having any issues cutting through the traffic this time.
Not in traffic that side because there were gaps. But a late move there from Sintins Galindo, almost went into Sam Skogard, and Nash had to follow him through, and so did Javier Del Olmo. You can see the pink Audi in the background there with the moment. Now the battle we were looking at earlier with the GTOs. Can Sintins Galindo get past one? He gets past Ian Haycock. He holds him up though, and almost going into the back of Doug Cloud. They have to take these speeds so much different. I was talking about that speed difference, Adam, and you can see it. Now, leaders held up here at the chicane. all of a sudden, this bunch, there's no real gaps. There's going to have to be a little bit of polite bullying, I feel, in the next few quarters.
Absolutely. So it's Cam Porter who's next. Cam's going to get past in a pretty decent spot, but he's going to have to take the line. He actually breaks a little bit because he knew that Robert Nash was going to try and make that move. Look at Sintes Galindo, though. He's got a good opportunity and a decent line off of 11, now down to 12. He's going to have to be a little bit offline for braking. Oh my goodness, tight stuff here as they go through the corners, and now they get back onto the front straight. They're going to have a good opportunity to pass, but the question is, can Sintes Galindo get a good run on Farron Grau? Because Farron's going to have to get held up here by the traffic. Here they go through the final hairpin of 14 onto the front straightaway. Farron Grau's going to have to take a shorter line through the corner. That's going to give an overspeed to Farron Grau, to Heitor Sintes Galindo. Here we go.
Here we go. There might be a little bit of free wider. It might just be a clear move. Can Sintes Galindo do this? No. And in fact, Farron's had to look at it. He tried to go for a late move and sliding in with a bit of a send on P2 in the GTO, Mickey Friesen. He did that. He fell under pressure. There was no need to. He wasn't under pressure. His teammate, Heitor Sintes Galindo, just played the mind games and played it to perfection.
Absolute disrespect there from Farron Grau on Mickey Friesen in second position of the GTOs, and the GTO battle for first is still trying to sort themselves out behind these two. My goodness, these three, I should say. Take a look at this, though. Aaron Humphrey under heavy pressure, or putting heavy pressure, rather, on Fernando Serrano for the 8th position in the GTPs. And now the battle for the GTOs are all separated at this stage in the game as the GTOs are trying to navigate their way with the GTPs trying to cut their way through the field. The only two who are still together are Candelas and Friesen. And look at this, Kevin Parrish. He's trying to look at this gaggle as they go through the chicanes there.
Look at that, and then you also got to realize the other gaggle through the final parts of the track, and these Audis are just getting cut through. They are butter right now, and the Nissans are the butter knife that they're trying to do. I've just seen a free wide at the front because the GTO lead almost changed.
Absolutely, that was Friesen trying to make a move on Candelas with an opportunistic opportunity as Candelas actually went defensive there. And this is Fernando Serrano and Aaron Humphrey, that battle that we were watching. They've actually separated our lead battle. The GTS, look at this, that's going to be Candelas pushed wide. Friesen should have a good run off of this final corner and maybe able to take the lead. That's if he doesn't get held up by some more GTP traffic. They're more or less even as they go off of the line, but Friesen with a better shift into fourth gear. Let's see whether or not he can make a move up the inside. He's going to get blocked off by Dylan Freckleton.
He gets blocked off, but he had to break there. There was no chance he was going to make that late move. Keep your eyes on Andreas Schuster, though, as he's looking for a little place there. Just a little spot to put his nose in. It's not there. Cameron's going to be catching up with it. For one moment, we only have one battle with two cars in the GTOs, and now it's two of them. And Farron Grau, do I hear Farron? That's all. We've had a crash elsewhere, though. One car's had a mistake as we continue on.
Yeah, Kevin Parrish sent it too deep inside of one of the Audis and just locked up the brakes. He didn't actually wreck. He just had to come to a stop and then get going once again. Juhani Kamanen has been doing a really good job of hanging on to the back of the GTO lead as we watch them in the midst of this GTP battle for 14th position. Look at this absolute mess as they go into the chicanes. The drivers are trying to figure out their way through there. Kamanen getting the worst of it. He's going to have to drop off the back of those lead three as the GTP's cutting their way through. This is where you said at the beginning, Craig, this track is just not built for multiclass.
It's not built. This is the old part of the track as well that was not renovated back in 2002. And you start to see it. Look at Jack Wells just there. He was looking to make a move in that blue Nissan, sorry. He was trying to make the move, and you'll see more drivers looking in. You can't even try and make an overtake in mid-traffic here because of the way it is. So that free wide we saw last lap with Candelas and Friesen in was just such a surprise. But look at it, the speed. Alvarez can't take that hairpin any faster, Adam, and that holds up Mickey Friesen. And now Candelas is going to get an advantage and another advantage as Friesen's had to go wide twice.
Absolutely. So this is what happens when you're in the slower classes and you have this much of a numbers difference. Look at Fabian Jungbluth. Looks like he might have had an issue through turn one. So he's just now recovering and getting going again. But Jungbluth down to 12th position. He was up to 11th previously. We're going to take a look at what happened with Sam Parrish because this was almost an accident.
Almost? I mean, it technically should have been an accident. He goes around on his own, though, and holds it in. Just wondering there, did he just get a little bit too hot on the throttle? He's trying to get into a spot that probably was closing up. I just got too hot there on the throttle. These guys are not hot on the throttle. They're hot under the pressure. 48°C, 118 Fahrenheit is the track temperature. It's gotten hotter, Adam. It's just going to stay like this for the rest of the race. It may get another couple degrees hotter, I reckon.
I agree. It probably will. It's 12:44 virtual standard time in the afternoon for these drivers. So the track temperature is only going to increase here at Hungaroring, and the temperature, inside the cockpit definitely increasing as Sintez Galindo with a decent run off of the corner, but Farron Grau with better traction gets an overspeed on our second place driver riding on board with Sintez Galindo. He looks to the inside, thinks better of it. That's going to keep Robert Nash in play in third.
Once again, Aitor trying to just do a little bit of baiting, and usually you wouldn't see that baiting to try and just make a mistake. But it worked the first time, so fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I think that's just teammates having a bit of fun, but Farron is struggling there. Aitor is in the back of his mind, and these two are going to be careful, because one mistake by one of these, and Nash is just going to pounce on the opportunity. We haven't spoken about Javier Del Olmo is currently 4th. What a return that is for him after a bad season 2.
Absolutely, yeah. Season 2 of this year has been absolutely brutal for Javier Del Olmo, and a good recovery for him. But I do want to talk about our biggest losers through all of that traffic, one of which on screen now, Togo Hisada. He's down by 4 seconds to Del Olmo in 4th position, who's about 1.5 off of the top 3. Togo Hisada was right up there battling in that top pack previously. Another biggest loser, unfortunately, for those of you who are rooting for him, Doug Cloud lost about 3.5 seconds to Cam Porter with all of the traffic. He's now 4.6 behind 7th place Cam Porter, who's 1.3 behind our top lead pack, which is about 6 cars long in the GTOs.
Let's just get back to other racing here. Kevin Parrish is going to have to do a little bit of recovery drive after losing a couple positions.
Second place is going to change hands here in the GTPs. Robert Nash got a run on Aitor Sintez Galindo, is going to take it deep into the braking zone. He's on the apex, the preferred line, but can Sintez Galindo hang on the outside? The answer is no. Gets loose over the curb. Robert Nash to second.
Yeah, Aitor try to fight that. Would be really nice to see if our driver can try and hold that F1 style, go side by side through the first corner. Could not do it. Maybe that'll be a little bit of a break there for Aitor. He'll be frustrated losing that position. However, it has to happen at some point. Aaron Humphrey looking at making a move. He gets past one of the drivers, and that's Fernando Serrato. He continues up his path, just really showing how that corner and that whole section really opens itself up for overtaking. Now he just get a chance to just blow away, and look at that. Just, you say it once, it's like a London bus. It comes twice. Kevin Parrish going to do the exact same thing.
Absolutely passing Matthew Cockrum for 17th position. There is Kevin Parrish. So 2 moves in the same corner on the same lap, just in different for different positions in the GTPs. So great opportunities there for the GTPs to make those passes. Here we take a look at our lead pack in the GTOs. It's separated now to just around the second between Kundelis and Friesen, and they need to get going because the GTP pack is going to be on them in about 2 or 3 laps time. So if Friesen wants to make a move on Kundelis, he's going to have to get it done before the GTPs come through again.
Yeah, and he's going to have to try and do it as well. Maybe use Schuster, who's right behind. Maybe those two work together here. Probably a little bit of slingshotting on each other. Try and work together and just use that to their ability. Because there's a straight coming up after the chicane. Maybe just use that.
Contact!
We're going to go to the lead because there's a spin around, and Farron Grau got tapped from Nash, and Nash has the lead.
A little bump and run for Robert Nash on fair ground. Grau's going to send it. He didn't like with that move. A little bit side-by-side contact, and he says, hey, if you're going to give, I'll send it back to you and give you a little bit more.
A little bit of a receipt there from Farron Grau. You can see, and Nash as well is going to be a little bit feisty now. And I think Aitor and Javier might be thinking about just grabbing a seat and holding back at the moment, because they know that if these two are just going to be a little hot under the collar. And remember, it's a hot track and it's a hot day. It could just help them a little bit here. But what a moment. I don't think Nash wanted to make that little tap. It's just the way it happened. It has been brewing, though, because of that slipstream going down into turn 1.
If I had the last season that Javier Del Olmo had, I would not be thinking about the lead right now. I would be thinking about, I just want to stay attached to these 4, and we'll see what happens towards the end of the race. just because I would feel a little bit shaken because of what happened last season. He going from championship winner of the GTPs, following a championship win in the GTOs the previous year, into having a really bad season. Just really rough stuff. Well, let's take a look at this replay here. This is with Farron Grau in second position, trying to make the pass on Robert Nash. And into the corner they go, and there's that bump from Nash on Grau. And he gets by, and then Farron Grau sends it deep into turn 2 here and says, hey, if that's the way you're going to play, I'll play back. Gives him a little bit of a shove. There's that receipt you talked about, Craig. And they almost did it again this lap, to be honest, but they're still line of start.
Yeah, I was watching that. I was like, that could happen again. Aaron going really defensive. That this gap has been closing, though, because last lap, Mickey Friesen took half a second out of Kundelis. He set the fastest time of the race of 45 flat if you round it. But now comes the GTO traffic, and it's going the GTP traffic, sorry, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Yes, this is a straggler, but this is just a prelude to what's going to happen next lap for them, because, again, Friesen getting caught out there from just a GTP having to swap back in. That's not his day right now with multi-class traffic.
This is Eric Kulaga, who's got overspeed on the GTOs when it comes to the straightaways, but just is not getting off of the corners very well and not trusting that car. It's becoming a little bit more of a roadblock than a passing vehicle, and that's absolutely destroyed Friesen's opportunity back out to 0.8 of a second.
But he's still in the slipstream. He can still do something. He lost half a second that time by, so you can just see what happened. It's one of those things, when we look at the top drivers, we've talked about it before, the Valenteas, let's talk about the Sintes Galindos as well. Even the Hugh Haycocks, the confidence they have, and Alex Ots, the confidence they have to make overtake on this traffic, you can just see that's the difference sometimes when it comes to this ability. It's not the pace that they're off with, it's their ability to get around the multi-class traffic. And is there going to be any option for a move this time by? No.
A little bit of a lockup for Farron Grau into turn 1. A little bit of a loose moment for Sintes Galindo and Del Olmo behind. So Sintes Galindo in a good opportunity as a championship contender to try and put some pressure onto Grau and Nash, but now they're catching up to the back of the GTOs once again. 11th position Romain Bello, and then 10th position Sam Skogsgaard. They're going to have to tackle both of them through the worst place to tackle them on the track, through the high-speed corners and then the little twisty bits of the back section of the track, the old track.
Yeah, the old track. Bello may just have to just slow down a little bit, and he does. He takes to the inside. All the GTPs go around, but now let's bunch everybody up. They come into the chicane. A big wobble there from Nash, and Del Olmo slides, and that's great save by both of them through that. That could have been a big accident. Nash almost went to the back of Grau. Del Olmo almost spun around in the middle of the chicane there.
Sintes Galindo loses a little bit of time, so now it's all on Nash and Grau. Grau, though, a much better turn 11 than Nash, and he's going to dive up to the inside of Ian Haycox, who's going to take to the apex afterward, and a little bit of contact there. Nash stuck his nose in, and Ian Haycox says, hey, no thanks. And look at this, it does Galindo up the inside. He's going to push out wide under the marbles, and here comes Nash to retake the position. My goodness.
On the 007 cam, you can just see what Nash is seeing. Ato had to go for the move. He felt, and he just got, I think what happened, he got a little bit loose beforehand. The car was unsettled, and he just could not get the traction down when braking, and that downforce did not help him. Going to lose out some time. He's going to bring Del Olmo back into his battle, and still the drivers get held up. That's Doug Cloud ahead of Farron Grau, and Farron Grau's at a moment!
Farron Grau's a major moment. Robert Nash making the pass. Farron Grau trying to hold on to it around the outside, but this is Doug Cloud up ahead of them. This is going to block off Nash as Nash goes to the inside of Doug Cloud. Doug's going to get pushed out wide. That's going to slide on Grau. Sintes Galindo looks, but he doesn't want to wreck his teammates, so he backs out of it. This gives Nash about 0.5 of a second. I can report Mickey Friesen's got, and he's now towards the back of the pack of the GTOs. He goes from, I believe, 3rd position all the way down to 6th of the GTOs.
Yeah, and that was caused by a slow GTP of that king that we just saw. And we're going to have to look back at that later on. We see Josh Brain now just getting caught up in these battles with the lead of the GTPs. There's Josh Brain. Del Olmo goes around. It looks like Farron Grau's having more problems up ahead as well. This is helping Robert Nash. He's starting to pull a second lead. Farron Grau, I think, since he had that moment at turn 1, those tires have been so hot, he's not been able to cool them down.
Yeah, just a reminder, Mickey Friesen was battling with Arturas Kundelis for the lead, so the gap is now between Arturas Kundelis and Andreas Schuster, 1.6 seconds for the lead of the GTOs, and that gap closing as our GTO leaders start to deal with a little bit of traffic once again. But we're looking at this battle for the lead of the GTPs as Ferenc Grau gets a bad exit because Nick McConnell is doing a swap over to try and get back onto the racing line. So Sintis Galindo, I think he might have to make a move on his teammate here. He can't do it, though, not this time around, but they need to be careful. But Robert Nash about to catch the back of traffic, and the chaos is about to begin again.
Yep, they've only got 3 cars left, though, but this is the battle now for P2 between Schuster and Cameron in front of them. So the top 3, the top 4 even, are about to hit a very crucial battle here. Cameron, I believe it might be one of his first races in the series, just coming in and managing to run that P3. Is there going to be a bookmark here? Yes, there's going to be one bookmark, and that's going to be great for Robert Nash. He gets another advantage, but gets held up from Kundelis, and look how much he's held up here. But look elsewhere, Jack Wells in a little battle as well. They come through. All the battles happening right now, it has gone chaotic. Usually we don't see it this chaotic on the second pass of the traffic.
Yeah, that's because these groups aren't really separating because there's no way to pass on this track except for the first straightaway. So you can get a good exit off in the back end. So we look at Dylan Freckleton as he's trying to get through the pack. If you don't get a good exit off of turn 14, then you don't have an opportunity to pass. So a lot of drivers, look at that, Freckleton just to the inside there of that driver. A lot of drivers are actually more or less out of position if they didn't have a good qualifying, but there's nothing you can really do about it, to be honest with you, because you can't make the pass.
No. You can't make the pass, you're going to have to wait for your opportunity, and that's what he's doing as Freckleton tries to get past Friesen. Friesen's not in the position he wants to be right now in the GTOs. There's Cam Porter as well. He's trying to get by, he's trying to catch up here to traffic. It's not very good. Cam had a moment earlier in the week on this corner, manages not to have a moment today, and now everyone's just holding station. Top 3 all bunched up together in the GTP. They're through the traffic. Jack Wells is going to look for a run here. We could see a free wide.
Jack Wells trying to make a move here on Alec Campbell, and they're going to try and make that move. Oh, we've had a position swap once again in the GTPs. No, we haven't. Ferenc Grau just locked it up going into turn 3, but look at this. Jack Wells trying to take an opportunity into Alec Campbell. Can't quite get it done this time by.
Yeah, let's look at Mickey Friesen's incident here, and you'll start to see this is so tough. That GTP is just taking the corner too slow. That is a high-speed corner. That's not an overtaking corner. And that GTP, it feels like to me, was trying to make that an overtaking corner. Friesen has nowhere to slow down in time. He's only got one place to go, and it's a cushion that is called a Nissan GTP.
And the GTP had actually gotten the move done prior to that corner, but then slowed down slower than the GTOs go through the corner, and that's what caused Friesen to get into the back of the GTP. The GTP was just that slow through the corner. Here we see a battle once again between Jack Wells and Alec Campbell. Alec Campbell clearly not as quick as Jack Wells in the race trim, but Wells not able to get anything done because every time he tries to get something done, they run into traffic. They're going to catch up to Nick Bakanos, likely in the turn for turn 12, maybe on this straightaway. I think it's going to be in the braking for turn 12. That's going to give Campbell an opportunity yet again if he goes to the inside of the GTO, and he does. So once again, a little bit of a bookmark here, but Bakanos goes wide, gives them room. Wells still in a good position to try and make a pass on the front stretch.
Yeah, and also looking to make a position, but can't do it. Aitor had another chance to get past Ferenc Grau, but Ferenc Grau going wide on the final corner, just like we're seeing here, cost him as well. Wells having to get right on the brakes as well. He's not going to have a run here, and that's similar to what happened to Sintes Galindo at the front of the track.
That's Juhani Komanen trying to make a move on Andreas Schuster. Schuster in second position. This battle's going to give even more of an advantage to Arturas Kundelis, who's now 2 seconds ahead of this battle as it continues. Komanen trying to make the move around the outside here into turn 2. Really hard to do in a GTP, nearly impossible in a GTO, but that assumes that Schuster's going to go wide. A little bit of a bumper there, and Komanen has to back out of it, but here comes that battle between Campbell and Wells. Campbell getting held up. Wells with a good run. Is it going to be 3 wide through turn 4? Oh my goodness. Jack Wells thought about it, but he stays in line.
Stays in line. I don't think there was a chance to make it, but that means Schuster have a moment. Schuster had to catch a slide. What a catch! But no, Cameron did not realize Schuster was still there, and he goes around.
So Komanen now still in second, but Kundelis free and clear by 4.5 seconds, and with Komanen with damage, It's almost like Condelis can just relax a little bit. Schuster still in third, but getting caught now by Nick McConnell as we go back to the lead of the race. 1.5 seconds for Robert Nash over Sintes Galindo. We knew that Nash was quick on race pace. We didn't realize he was this quick, but Sintes Galindo has gotten the move done on Farron Grau, and if he's got any pace for Robert Nash, now is the time to use it. 8.5 minutes to go.
I think he's got the pace. We know what Sintes Galindo can do. And I'm pretty sure if he doesn't have the pace, he'll be coming back into this afterwards and just saying how he's just frustrated he didn't have it. That's how much it means to him. Humphrey's going to be making a move here on Brendan Lim. Gets it done. And he's now going to continue on. What a drive it has been today for Aaron Humphrey. He's +4 on the day with another cracking move. And it's another move, Adam, in turn 1.
You know, one driver we haven't been talking a lot about today, but has just been slowly making his way up the field and been making good passes is Cam Porter. In 5th position right now, possibly going to get passed by Mickey Friesen in the GTOs. The answer is no, as Matthew Cochran goes up the inside of them. But Cam Porter, very consistent, very measured drive, has made himself 5 positions this race so far.
Yeah, and also we got to talk about Riley Thompson as well. Quiet drive. He's been trying to make his way through as well, but only +1 because of that Jack Wells. I can report Jack Wells' issue. Well, we've been told by someone in the YouTube chat, his monitor turned off. Well, that's why he had to come to a stop, and I can't think of any other better place to make a stop. Now almost got around!
Yeah, Del Olmo unfortunately has gone around, and this is through turn 12. And he actually just clipped the inside curb and got that car bouncing, and unfortunately that's lost him a position to Togo Hisada and lost him a lot of time.
Such a shame. They were having such a good battle between the two of them. Hisada now goes up +2 for the day. What a drive it has been for Togo Hisada, but yeah, just losing it on his own there, just catching the outside curb. Manages to keep it out of the wall though.
Yeah, so Delamo still in 5th position, about 1.7 seconds ahead of Riley Thompson. So fortunately for him, still a good points day so far. Here is Cam Porter. Right now, a little bit of a cork in the bottle with Mickey Friesen trying to get his way by. Josh Brain is a driver who's got more or less the same pace as Cam Porter over the last couple of races. But Friesen, feeling very caught up here. He's going to try and late apex this and get a good run on Cam. He gets the same run as Cam, and that should be an opportunity to the inside. Cam's not going to fight this. He's going to let Friesen go.
Yeah, this is just going to be simple. In fact, it's almost going to be done before the braking, and it is as well. Cam is now not side by side. He wants to turn a little bit early, can't make it, but there it goes. He gets back up into P5, does Friesen. Josh Brain maybe following. We've got to keep our eyes on that lead battle though in the GTPs, Adam, because Aitor had managed to slash half a second last lap on Robert Nash. He is pushing, and I'm just looking. They don't have much traffic to go by.
And just a reminder, the driver in the back of that GTO pack that we're seeing on screen, that's Doug Cloud. He started without having set a qualifying time, so he started all the way down in the 13th position. And he possibly has an opportunity to get up to 5th if he can get past all these drivers in this pack. So there's a lot of opportunities here for Doug Cloud to get his move on. Cam Porter and Josh Brain, who've been duking it out for multiple seasons, are now duking it out in this race as well. And so they're not going to want to slow each other up that much. Nick McConnell's also still in the back of Andreas Schuster for that 3rd position, as Johnny Kaminen 3.8 seconds to Kundalus, so he's actually made up a little bit of the gap that they lost because of that incident. So tough stuff for a lot of the drivers, and everyone has a lot of work to do in the last 5 minutes of this race.
Is it crazy? There's just under 5 minutes left now. It's absolutely bizarre how much we've gone. And looking at those times again, Aitor only getting 3/10 out of Robert Nash. That's what we're looking at the moment. Continue here. Josh Brain is just looking for a moment. He's better under the braking. He's catching up to Cam. And look at the stone face of Cam. He's going to get a chuckle out of that. Just look how just it is there. Not a lot of reaction at the moment. He is super focused. He's having a really good fight. It's been a while since we've seen Cam have a fight this high up the field. That's not a knock. That's just how good the strength of field has been in the GTOs recently.
Absolutely, but with a single split here today, Cam Porter up there battling for the top 5 positions. Mickey Friesen, though, clearly quicker on pace than Cam Porter. I can report about the lead battle between Nash and Sintes Galindo. it's solidified at about 3/4 of a second between Sintes Galindo and Robert Nash. But I will say that our leaders have one more time through the GTOs to go. And it's going to be, they might finish in the midst of the GTO battles, to be honest with you, Fred.
Yeah, that could be a real interesting moment here. This is also more battles going on. Seamus Power looking to make more moves as he goes side by side with Serato and almost coming together. In fact, they did touch, and Serato will hold on to it. Dylan Frackleton right behind, just looking through. Everyone knows how important that first corner is today, and you see people being, I wouldn't say just defending like their life depends on it, but they're being a little bit extra with defending. We gotta get back to the lead of the GTPs though, Adam, because the first round wave of traffic into a lap GTP has brought them both together.
Absolutely. So Sintes Galindo right on the back of Robert Nash. As we watch Toko Hisada right on the back of Farron Grau. Grau's pace has absolutely dropped like a rock ever since falling off the back of his teammate Sintes Galindo. Sintes Galindo, though, in a decent position to try and make a move on Nash, as Nash is actually going to take it to the inside of Romain Bello just ahead. You could see the smoke from the braking as Toko Hisada still trying to put some pressure onto Grau. But I think Sintes Galindo might have an opportunity to try and pass Nash on this front straightaway if he can get a good run.
Well, look at what just happened 2 corners ago. Nash went in late on Bello, locked up the tires, heated the tires, 117 Fahrenheit track temp right now. Those tires have not cooled down yet, but Aitor cannot get the launch. That is the story of the day. That final corner, he's not been able to get the launch. What have they got up ahead? 3.5 seconds up ahead. It's Ian Haycock. They're going to be hitting him as they come down.
2 to go this time by. 2 minutes on the clock at 1:35 for last lap. So 2 to go for our leaders. Sintes Galindo has to get it done in the next, realistically, the next lap and a half. So he's got some work ahead of him. And look at this, Seamus Power making the move on Serato this time. Or Serato actually just hanging on to it there. My goodness, tough battles all over. Freckleton looking on. This is for 9th position.
This is the 9th position. He's going to look for this as well. Power gets by finally, and Frackleton may have a run down here, and he's got a little space here, so he comes down and up the hill. Going to try and have to do this around the outside. Can't get it done this time by, as we start to see what can they do back with more battles. Aaron Humphrey getting a little bit bigger, and around goes the number 9, and Riley Thompson. What a great race it's been, and unfortunately he's going to lose just a couple of positions. Absolutely.
It's going to drop him back into that battle for 9th position, or now 8th, between Seamus Power and Fernando Serato. So Riley Thompson side by side there with Dylan Freckleton. He doesn't want to give this up, but he's got hot tires. Freckleton might have an opportunity, and he does take it away. But we got to go back to the lead of the GTPs because they're about to cross with the white flag. Nash still 0.4 of a second ahead of Sintes Galindo. Robert Nash, white flag.
White flag. Josh Brain managed, unfortunately got past Doug Cloud, then lost it again. And you start to see the moves as Nash getting a little bit desperate, slides the car, holds on to it. And this is big, and now Sintes Galindo sliding as well. They're going to have a little fight here at the end. Got to keep your eyes on Grau and Hisada. No moves done there yet. But the battle for the last spot on the podium is also heating up.
Absolutely. So Nash has to try and get by Cam Porter before they get to turn 4. He's going to get that done. Sintes Galindo up the inside. This is going to make his turn 4 a challenge, but he's able to get through it as well. But now Nash is going to catch up to Mickey Fries in 5th position in the GTOs. He should get by him before they get to the chicanes. But unfortunately, Sintes Galindo gets bottled up, so he can't get any speed up the corner, but he gets a decent run compared to Nash. Now they're up to the back of Eric Kulaga, who is the slow car in the GTPs, and he's tucked in behind Nick McConnell and Andreas Schuster battling for 3rd position in the GTOs, and here we go! This is the moment. Nash is held up! Aitor Sintes Galindo around the outside, but he's going to get bottled up behind Nick McConnell. He tries to make it 3-1, and he does!
Makes it 3-wide, but can't hold on to it. And Nash has just got a couple more corners left. It's Sada as well. We'll look at that later. He's side by side. He's going to try and make the move around the outside. He's going to try and hold this. He is going to hold this, and Nash is going to win it.
Nash coming out of the final corner, and he's going to get the job done. Farron Grau, I think he's going to get the job done on Toko Hisada. It's still side by side to the line. Toko Hisada gets 3rd position, just barely 1/10 of a second, I believe. We'll have to go back to the replay to see. But Condelis as well Oh my goodness, a little bit of a deep breath. Kundelis and Kaminen have another lap to go. Nick McConnell and Andreas Schuster are done, but our leader in second position have one more lap, and we've seen the fuel troubles they've had the last couple of weeks, Craig.
Seen the fuel troubles. They're going to have to hold on. Alec Campbell now having a little last battle with Fabian Youngblood, not going to hold it. So it's going to be a couple cars left. We see these other drivers just trying to make the battles go. Jack Wells just finishing on as well, not having the race he wanted. So these cars can go by. But I have to say, Hasada-san, Nani Deskai, that was an amazing move to seal that P3.
Absolutely. We'll have to take a look. I believe he did score that P3 on track, so it's going to be real close there as far as the timing and scoring. We're taking a look at Arturas Kundelis, who I would be talking about how well he's done this race, but we know with the fuel troubles that he's not out of the woods yet. 4.7 seconds back to Juhani Kaminen, who's still on this lap as well. There he is, just coming off of turn 11 in the background. But Kundelis only has a couple of corners to go. He's got the 2 hairpins of turn 13 and turn 14, and from here he could more or less drift it all the way to the end. So Kundelis through the final corner, doesn't need to take any risks, and he's going to come off the final corner. And Arturas Kundelis, after having a strong battle today with the likes of Andreas Schuster and Mickey Friesen, wins the race. Juhani Kaminen is going to come to the line as well. We're going to take a look at the replay of that finish of the GTPs, however.
Look at this, look at this. He goes for the opportunity. He has to try and put his nose in there. That just throws off Ferrin, and he's got the run. He's on the outside here of turn 13. He's got to try and stick it. He holds on as much as he can. Remember I said you can use his pit entry? Hisada uses that to perfection. Now they get tighter. Look how tight Ferrin gets. Hisada just track out a little bit, watches out, but he gets on the throttle early. He's got such a clean line that Ferrin had to do a little bit of a lift. Really nice move at the end there from Hisada to make that. That is one of those that you see on those iRacing top 10s. Just brilliant. I got to say, Kaminen, P2, great result for his first time.
Absolutely. Very professional driving from those drivers. But Robert Nash, he had the pace all day on the rest of the field and comes home with the win in the race over Heitor Santos Galindo, who was challenging in those last couple laps, but just didn't quite have the tires to get there. Togo Hisada, what a race he had after having a bad morning a couple of corners in at the Nordschleife earlier today, finishing in third, last spot on the podium after a last lap pass on Ferrin Grau. What a move he made. Javier Del Olmo hangs on to 5th position after having an up and down race, but I think he'll be happy with that result considering last season's. Aaron Humphrey was leading the championship coming into this round, won't be exiting this round, down in 6th position. Brendan Lim in 7th spot, and then Seamus Power in 8th. Fernando Serrato and Dylan Freckleton after duking it out. It's Serrato who comes out ahead of Freckleton, and then Riley Thompson, who had that spin on the last couple laps coming through turn 6 and 7, is going to finish in 11th position on the next slide. And we've got Fabian Jungbluth. We didn't talk about him much today. Not a great day for him. 4 seconds back of Riley even after the spin, finishes in 12th position. Alec Campbell and Antonio Alvarez, who are having that battle for a long time, 13th and 14th for them, with Jack Wells on 4th. Just not a good day for him. 15th position with Kevin Parrish down in 16th, David Finch 17th, and then Matthew Cochran, Bo Reed, Sergio Alonso Gomez, and then we have also Christian Arribas, Isaac Snyder, Eric Kulaga, Jim Turner, and Britt Casey rounding out your GTPs.
So we get a quick look at the GTOs, and Kundelis, it does not show the result, how competitive it was, but he does finish in P1 with Juhani Kaminen in second. And they had to do a lap all by themselves as Schuster managed to hold off McCandless at the end there to get third and fourth respectively. And Mickey Friesen, what could have been, fell down the order but recovered to P5. Cam Porter making up 3 positions there to be 6th, and Doug Cloud not setting a qualifying time goes +7 to 7, with Josh Brain finishing in 8th. And then it's Ian Haycox in 9th, and Roman Bello will be in 10th. And as we just go to the last slide, Sam Skogard will be 11th, and then it's the retirees with Sonderup down 15 laps, Rado Limpiu 16 laps, Philip Lake was 23 laps, and Johan Van Hixie I don't think took the start after connection problems.
What a race we had today, Craig. We saw a whole lot of everything. A lot of drivers bottled up in positions where they didn't need to be, and a lot of drivers in trouble throughout the race, but very close racing there at the end. And I think that it just goes to show you that IMSA Vintage can bring it even on challenging tracks like this.
it's such a challenge, this track, full stop. And we've seen multiclass come here before and iRacing in other series, and it has been hard to make a move. So just to see what some of those drivers had to do, you can actually see the desperation in some of those drivers today. And that's where you saw a lot of mistakes and a lot of overheating tires, because they knew they had to get the move done due to desperation.
Well, we have Cam Porter here to talk to us today. Cam Porter. Cam, you finish starting off in 10th position, finishing in 6th. You were having battles all day and making your way up the field. I mean, I don't know how did that race feel for you? Because I know from previous experience that races like this can not feel so great, even though you're making positions, but how was it for you out there?
Really enjoyed that race today. Had a great battle with the guys around me, and I was proud of myself that I was kind of keeping up with that lead group for a little while. So I somehow got some pace here at Hungaroring, and I really enjoyed the race today. And shout out to Josh and gosh, who else? Mickey and all the guys that were racing close with me. Doug was right on my tail at the end there. So give it a few more laps, I'm sure Doug probably would have passed me. But yeah, really had a fun race today.
It seemed like it was the traffic that kind of broke you out from that top that top group. But like you said, you're keeping pace with them pretty much most the entire day. What did it feel like to be up there knowing that you might have an opportunity for the win on raw pace today? I mean, it's been a while since you've been able to say that.
Well, yeah, I'm normally a mid-pack driver. I've resolved myself to that. I don't put a lot of work into practicing like a lot of the other guys do. Thanks to Mickey for sharing his setups. I almost always use his setups, so I know he works hard on those. And just like I said, when I'm in the race, I don't put much thought into, could I possibly win or whatever. Especially in this crowd. Gosh, some talented guys show up for this race every week. So kudos to those guys. But I didn't think that I'd be able to get a win, maybe a podium if there was some attrition ahead of me. A couple of guys did drop out. Unfortunately, Phil discoed, and then one of the other fellows, I think, disconnected as well. So got a little bit of luck and a little bit of pace today. So feeling okay about this result.
Well, Cam, next week we head to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. This has been a place of so much controversy over the years in the IMSA Vintage community. lots of comings together and frustrated drivers. What are your thoughts heading into that round as a GTO driver yourself?
Yeah, because of the high-speed nature of the track, a lot of fast-flowing corners, it accentuates the difference in the speed difference between the classes. So it does cause some conflicts sometimes, obviously, but I feel like the guys that regularly do this series know what to expect from the pace difference and how to set up a pass. And usually if there's some trouble, it's probably from people that are less experienced in the series. So hopefully we can get a good crowd next week for Mosport, one of my favorites.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Cam, and congratulations on the your top 10 position, 6th position for Cam Porter here in the GTOs. And that's going to close us out for today. We want to give a huge thank you for the IMSA Vintage community for bringing us back for another season. And a big thanks today to the team, Craig, Daniel, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Next race, as we just said, Mosport, July 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And be sure to check out all of our other broadcasts that are also listed here on your screen. We hope you've enjoyed joining us today as much as we've enjoyed bringing this racing to you. And we hope to see you back again soon. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.